Hi, I'm Neill, and I'm the Managing Director of EweMove Sales and Lettings. So we've got franchisees all over the UK. So I live in York myself, and we've got franchisees all the way down in Redruth in Cornwall, right up to Aberdeen in Scotland, and everywhere else in between. So there's around 200 of us at the moment. I kind of got involved back in October 2013 when I was the third franchisee for EweMove back in the day, and I launched my business at the beginning of 2014. And then I ran that for 3.5 years before taking on the MD role of the UK network. So our favourite thing about working as an agent, and people do often ask me this, and it's quite personally, and it's a great privilege, I think, to be invited into somebody's home. You're sitting down on the sofa, and they're sharing with you their hopes and aspirations for selling the home and moving on. And, we often think estate agency is all about, getting a house listed and selling the house, but actually helping people along their journey. So now I'm working as Managing Director of a UK network of franchisees in slightly different favourites in terms of what I like, and actually working with, a group of entrepreneurs and people who want to come and start their own agency business. That's a real privilege because, there's so much skill and experience that we kind of bring together collectively as a network, and it just helps everybody raise their game by sharing and learning from each other and sort of developing that best practice. So, every day is a learning day, and it's a great honour to lead this business. So back in the day, so I started as an estate agent, as I mentioned, back in 2014, and I think I was probably one of the very first customers of GetAgent when GetAgent was launched around sort of 14, 15, I can't quite remember now. I was fascinated by the data and the analysis that I was able to utilise as an agent. And I remember very quickly using that information to win more and more instructions when I was in an appraisal. So I found it as a tool to really give customers confidence about the agent that they choose, because you can see real time, how each of those agents compare. So it's not just me saying I'm the best, because no one wants to hear that. What I'm able to show customers is, this helps you make a choice about which agent is right for you. And I found it invaluable. So I recommend it to all of our franchisees to really use the tool, because there's kind of two aspects to GetAgent as far as I'm concerned. One is the lead generation aspect, which is great because everyone wants more leads. But the other is the data analytics that come from the dashboard. So as an agent, you can kind of explore not only how well you're doing relative to your competition, because if you're not as good, it tells you what you need to do better. So that continuous improvement is really helpful to signpost that. But to get those additional leads that you maybe wouldn't have got otherwise, is just an absolute bonus. So, I think from a sales lead point of view and from a performance improvement perspective, both kind of sides of the coin are really, really important. No, I didn't have any reservations, actually. I thought the presentation of the tools was very straightforward, and I looked at it more from an agent perspective in terms of looking at the data that comes from it rather than a consumer sort of website perspective. But the data was there. I liked the data, of course, because it was my performance and it was always very good. So I was happy to promote it, and that's fine. The commercial model for how you buy leads from GetAgent has changed over the course of time, but it doesn't change the principle of the fact that, a customer is using an independent source to determine or help signpost them to, the best agent, because the market has become probably more and more splintered over time, certainly since lockdown, with lots and lots of people going independent. So how does it cut through the noise? Because every agent advertises that they're the best, of course they do. But being able to actually show, kind of league table in an independently verified way who is actually the best, just helps cut through the noise. And I think as a smaller independent operator, you tend to perform better. We see this in industry stats. The kind of self-employed agents, independent agents tend to outperform the big corporates. So, you haven't got the massive marketing budgets to compete against those big corporates, but using the GetAgent platform enables customers to see that actually, even though you might be smaller, you're doing a better job. The most difficult job about being an agent, I think it's that initial filtering of the opportunity pipeline. So customers think about selling their house and they maybe reach out to 2 or 3 agents. You might be going to a platform such as GetAgent, or they might search Google, who's the best agent in my town. They're trying to do all this kind of research. So the most difficult thing for smaller operators is to really be seen and be heard in amongst that initial search. Well, the biggest issue for me is probably twofold. So one, as a franchisor, so my role is to build the EweMove franchise network, which is franchising first, estate agency second. So we compete with food franchises, service franchises, lots of other things. So we're kind of competing in the franchise space as well as we are in the estate agency space. So when somebody buys a franchise, then it's all about estate agency, of course. And what we need to do as a franchisor is help those franchisees build lucrative businesses. And we do that through both sales and lettings. But lettings is a very slow burn. Landlords tend not to change until the tenancy changes. And we're seeing with the current market, tenants staying longer. So that takes a little bit more time for that to cycle through. On the sales side, as I mentioned before, we help our franchisees with a lead generation tool so as soon as they launch their business, they're starting to participate in their local market. So, our more mature franchisees, we've got quite a few that are number 1, number 2 market share in their town, and that's really impressive. Others who just want to work on their own and sort of keep things relatively small scale are able to earn a really, really good income by just selling, 3 or 4 houses a month, and that's all they need to do, because they retain 100% of their commission in our model, and it makes sense for them. So, it's all about efficiently finding those opportunities and converting them. Conversion, we're really good. We just focus our time on helping our agents efficiently find those opportunities in the first place. GetAgent provides essentially a kind of independent route to market for us as well. So we do what we do, and GetAgent does what GetAgent does. And, those two things overlap very slightly in terms of the PPC piece, but they don't overlap entirely, which is good. So it's a very complementary marketing channel for us. So, we'll pay a slice of commission to GetAgent for those leads, but that avoids the need to invest marketing dollars in getting the lead ourselves. So, the two things blend quite nicely. And I think what a lot of agents forget is that, if you get one lead from GetAgent, that converts into a listing. Well, that listing converts into more listings because we tend to sell houses for our viewers quite strongly. So, if you think about it, it's, the cost of one lead actually gives you probably multiple 2, 3, 4 houses actually that you wouldn't have got otherwise. So it's really good if you look at the long-term payback. What immediately struck me was the dashboard, where I could see, because I was new into agency myself and obviously a new business, I could see what my performance was relative to my local competitors. And whether it was good, bad or indifferent, I didn't know, but that fascinated me. I thought I definitely need to know this because, as I mentioned before, if I wasn't the best, what do I need to do to be the best? So over time, as you get some data coming through the system, property sale and completion data comes through, you then realize that actually, yes, you are selling more houses than your competitors. You are selling them faster. You are selling them for more money. And that's just invaluable data. I recommend it for 2 reasons. One is it gets some more leads and more business, which is, objective number 1. That's really good. The other reason I do it actually is for my own sort of reasons. So, I'm continually looking for ways to make sure EweMove is the best estate agency proposition in the UK. Not proposition for agents, but proposition for customers. So we want to make sure that we're always getting the best commercial results for our customers. And in so doing, franchisees make some good money. That's fine. But having a franchisee look at their own dashboard tells them precisely how well they are doing relative to their competitors. And if they are not the best, what do they need to do to become the best? This is all really internal for us. So forget the customer 1 second. They're saying, right, there's somebody in your local market that's performing better than you are. So what do you need to do to change to improve your performance? And that continuous improvement is good for us and our brand, but the benefit is it helps that franchisee win more instructions. So there's a lot of good things you can learn from that data, and it's presented in a way that makes it very easy. Well, more business makes me happy. And seeing data that tells me I'm the best makes me happy. So those 2 things I would say are top of the list. Educational.